Okay, welcome back, friends. Now, have you heard of test tube babies? So, now don't think that the name shows that babies grow in test tubes. That is not it. By the way, what is a test tube? So, this is a test tube, right? This is a test tube. It's a glass tube. And don't you think that a baby will grow in this test tube? Right? That's not a test tube baby concept, okay? So this is not what is going to happen, right? What is test tube baby? Let us just understand, okay? And then I'll show you what is the reality. So now there are many women whose oviducts are blocked. So what happens? The egg cannot come into or the egg cannot meet the sperm, and fertilization cannot occur, or there may be some other reasons also, right? So due to these reasons, these women are unable to bear babies, because what I just told you, the sperms cannot reach the egg, fertilization cannot occur. In such cases, doctors collect freshly released egg, right, from the ovaries, okay, from the ovaries, and sperms from the male, and keep them together for a few hours for IVF. See the word IVF. It is called in vitro fertilization. It means fertilization outside, right, the body, right? In vitro, in this case, test tube, right? In test tube. Fertilization in the test tube. Now what happens if fertilization occurs? In case fertilization occurs, zygote is allowed to develop for about a week inside the test tube, right? Inside the test tube. We saw what a test tube is, okay? In fact, it is not we don't use a test tube, but we use a petri dish. A petri dish is used for that. I'll show you what petri dish means. And then it is placed back in the mother's uterus. So now development of the child will take place in the uterus itself, and the baby is born like any other baby. So babies born through this technique are called test tube babies. Now you see the word test tube is misleading, right? You see what happens. This is it. This is the petri dish, right? And in this petri dish, look at this diagram. I'll show you another thing. Yeah, look at this diagram. In this diagram, what is happening? The egg is being removed. Right? An egg is being removed by a syringe. Then, in this petri dish, the egg and the sperm are being fused and allowed to germinate, means or fertilize. Proper medium is being provided. Proper temperature, proper nutrition is being provided, and the fertilization occurs. The zygote now develops, and this zygote which develops now is again implanted in the uterus of the mother, and the baby grows there only. Okay, so the word test tube baby doesn't mean the baby grows outside, right? This is a misleading thing. It is fertilized outside, okay, and the development will occur in the womb itself. Alright guys, now yesterday we talked of internal fertilization and external fertilization, right? The question we stopped with yesterday was, frogs and fish lay hundreds of eggs, and hen lays only one egg at a time. Why? Right? Why do these frogs and fishes lay lots of eggs? If you see a fish egg, they are small, tiny, like राई का दाना से भी छोटे हो गए, right? And अपने गर्भ किए ने, we call them गर्भ. From the word गर्भ, गर्भ means what do you say गर्भ? The womb. So why do these fish and frogs have lots of eggs? So these animals, the fish and frogs, they lay hundreds of eggs, and they release millions of sperms. Problem is that all the eggs do not get fertilized and do not develop into new individuals. Why? This is because the eggs and the sperm get exposed to water movement, wind, rainfall. Other animals may feed on these eggs. So, to balance this out, balance all these adverse factors, a large number of eggs and sperms is necessary to ensure fertilization of at least a few of them. So, it's a game of chance. Right? Like you lay 1,000 eggs, maybe 990 are eaten up or destroyed. 10 may fertilize. Out of this 10 fertilized egg, let's say 2 may die, 8 are born, new 8 born. Again in childhood, let us say 6 die. In childhood, they are eaten by other animals, etc. 2 only grow. Right? Yeah, 2 survive into adults. So you see, basically it's a game of chance. To just for survival of the species, this chance has to be taken. Okay. Okay. Now the next question is, how does the embryo develop? Right? How does a single cell, the zygote, how does the zygote develop into the child? Right? How does this occur? So, how does the embryo develop? The fertilization results in the formation of zygote. Zygote begins to develop into embryo. How this occurs? The zygote divides repeatedly to give rise to a ball of cells. Look at figure 9.8b. This thing you see. Right? This ball of cell is called the morulus. The cells then begin to form groups. Now see, that is called division of labor. Right? Groups. These groups develop into tissues, different tissues. Tissues are group of cells performing a particular function. And these tissues form the organs. So, we have something like this. Cells form tissues. Tissues form the organs. Organ form the organ systems. Digestive system, respiratory system, nervous system. The cells, tissues, organs, organ system, and organ systems ultimately join to form the organism. That entire body. Organism means entire body, full body. Okay, this is the sequence. So this developing structure formed of dividing tissues and organs is called an embryo, and this embryo gets embedded. Embedded means fixed in the wall of the uterus for further development. This embryo develops in the uterus. It gradually develops. You see, this zygote, the ovulation occurs. See, the ovulation occurs. The egg is released. The egg and sperm unite. Right? Zygote is nothing but the unison of the fusion of egg and sperm. This zygote now starts developing. See, it starts dividing. 2 हो गया, 4 हो गया, 8 हो गया, ऐसा करके 32 आ गया और डेवलप होगा. एंड ये यूटेरस का वॉल में, it comes into the uterus, and uterus का वॉल में यहाँ पे एम्बेड हो जाता है. एम्बेड means something like this. Let's take another color. I'll show you. Let's take it. It gets fixed. Yeah, ऐसा करके it is embedded inside. Yeah, yeah. Right? It gets stuck. That's called embedation. Right? इसको हम biological language में implantation बोलते हैं. Yeah, it's called implantation. So it gets implanted in the uterus of the mother. And you see, in the uterine wall, the developing embryo gets stuck. It's implanted now. It gets nutrition from the mother's body through a pipe called the placenta, a tube called the placenta. So placenta is joining the uterus to the mother's body. Sorry, the embryo to the mother's body. Okay. Now then the body parts like hands, legs, etc. develop. The stage of the embryo in which all the body parts can be identified is called a fetus, and this will normally come at after around 8 weeks of pregnancy. right? 8 to may not exactly 8 but 8 to maybe 10 weeks, 2.5 महीने में पूरा बॉडी का पार्ट बन जाएगा. स्मॉल बेबी is now developing, right, in the mother's uterus. It may be as small as your thumb, आपका अंगूठा जितना छोटा साइज का होगा, and then it keeps on becoming bigger and bigger, and then it develops further. See in this diagram, you see the mother during pregnancy, right, the womb is so small and then it progresses into a big womb. Let's compare that to the size of some fruits and understand how the a baby is. Like see, during the first month of pregnancy, right, the baby can be inside a small pear, right, a plum, then an apple, right? Then see as the time increases, right, during the 4th month it's in a guava, jamruk के size इतना होता है, right? Then orange, and then you see in the 6th month, right, a big jamruk, right, this is a pear, sorry. Then a pineapple in the 7th month. In the 8th month, what is this? This is, I think so, this is like a pumpkin, koru, kaddu, and then see like a watermelon. In the 9th month, the baby will fit inside a watermelon. So the mother's womb becomes so big, right, to adjust the baby, right? See, this is how it will look in the inside, right? At the early month by month, the baby keeps on developing and becoming big, and it changes. Like see, from a fetus, you see, from 0 to 2 weeks, it's in a germinal stage, right? Then at 3 to 8 weeks, 2 महीने में देखो पूरा बॉडी का स्ट्रक्चर आ गया है, ऑर्गन्स बन गए, लेकिन अभी देखो हाथ पैर अच्छी तरह से नहीं बने. By 9 weeks to birth, now the whole body is developed. So at 10 weeks, the entire body takes place. Shape is coming. See, the hands and legs are now being observed. Everything is now being developed, right, for the baby. There are some nice videos on YouTube. You can just see how the baby develops in the uterus, right? It's right till birth, how it happens. See, at 29 weeks of pregnancy, the baby is almost ready to come out. 9 months, right? Okay. Now, internal fertilization takes place in hens also, right? So, hens also have internal fertilization, but hens don't give birth like human beings. What do they do? They lay eggs. So, fertilization is internal, development is external. Now, soon after fertilization, the zygote repeatedly divides. So after fertilization, zygote divides, travels down the oviduct. As it travels down, many layers, protective layers, are formed around it. The hard shell that you see in a hen's egg is one such protective layer. So what happens? Fertilization is internal, and then the zygote is dividing, and a protective layer is forming around the zygote, which is a shell, the hard shell. And after the shell is formed around the developing embryo, the hen now finally lays the egg, and the development of the egg now occurs outside the human body, or the hen body. The embryo takes about 3 weeks to develop into a chick. So every 21 days, right, the egg will hatch. So the hen sits on the egg. Why? To provide sufficient warmth. And the development of the chick will take place inside the egg shell during this period. So after the chick is completely developed, what happens? It bursts open the egg shell. Right? Nature has made it so smart that once it is ready to come out, वो egg shell को तोड़ के बाहर निकल आएगा. Right? Even birds, all of these creatures, even reptiles, they will, once they're ready, they come out. See, it's something like this. You can see in this diagram, the chick is breaking the egg cell and coming out. Right? The egg is being broken by the chick and it is coming out. Right? So nature has made it that way. Right? Nature has given it such intellect that once it is ready to come out, it will only break the egg shell from outside. From inside, sorry, not from outside, from inside. Okay. Now in animals which undergo external fertilization, development of the embryo takes place outside the female body, right? See, external fertilization, what happens? Development of the embryo takes place outside the female body. The embryos grow within their egg coverings. After the embryos develop, the eggs hatch. Hatch means the chick comes out. This is seen in birds, reptiles also. That all the reptiles, snakes, and I did name any reptile you know. That right till the dinosaurs, they all hatch in this similar manner. Right. Then you must have seen numerous tadpoles swimming in ponds and streams, which are the tadpole of the frogs, right? The frogs babies. They don't have a hard skeleton, hard shell covering. Right? They have a jelly-like mass which keeps them together. And once they are born, they are just in tadpole form. They swim in the water. Okay, guys. I think so. It's been a long enough a video right now. Let us continue the chapter in the next video, and we'll conclude the entire chapter in the succeeding video. So meet you then. Bye, friends.